discussions on the national budget for children, the children budget allocations for 2022-2023. And with me in here, I do have Honorable Margaret Makoha, who is also Member of Parliament, Namaingo District, Women Member of Parliament, Namaingo District, representative of the women in there, and also she sits on the Uganda Parliamentary Forum for Children as well. So this is where our discussion is on the budget allocations for the children. Now, I did break down some of the key discussions we had earlier on. Now, at this particular moment, I would as well want to understand more. If you're to look at the government, is there any project the government is setting up for the children, or are there some projects the government has set up for the children in the past 2-3 years?
Not really.
Okay.
I don't see any. Like I told you, we have a challenge of bundling the children's budget together with the youth.
Okay.
So now, specifically for children, there is no set out project or program that is specific, apart from the use of programs of putting some money in health, putting some money in education, putting splashing some little money in child protection. But the emphasis of government has been put on how to empower the youth. And now that is where you come up with some of those programs of youth livelihood. And now as I speak now, I've gone to the parish development model, where they are saying out of their 100 million per parish, 30 million is for the youth. So it's like government is taking its direction, more so putting attention to the youth. But my main challenge is, why should we target the youth and leave the children? Because when you get a stunted youth, then that youth will not be of benefit. That youth will already have been wasted. That youth will, the potential they have already been not tapped into. So why shouldn't we invest deliberately in putting some good money in education? More so early childhood. We've seen even teachers going for a strike. It is because of the little money put into the sector. But now when you deeply go again out of this little money put into the sector, we are not tapping into the child, whom we call a child. A child is, Uganda takes a child to be from 0 to 18 years. So have we invested in them? It's like the government has left the children for the parents, which parents are already struggling. That's why now you see we have government schools. We want to appreciate government for UPE, for USA. But how many are completing? How many are being tapped into that potential? You go to a UPE school, you will see many children in class. The classrooms are few. Even the salary, you've seen them trying to do the strike. That implies that even what is put into the sector is not enough. People are not satisfied, and that is why they have to go for a strike. So why we as a forum, we think if government can put children to be a priority, then we shall have a better country. Because we miss out a mark on this child, then the child will not be beneficial to us when the child grows up. So if we neglect some of these children, like government has neglected the street children, you don't see them, they have left them to KCCA, which KCCA is not funded. You hear of them being bundled up. Why can't we address the challenges which bring these children to the street so that they don't come? If we do not engage them, if we do not pay attention to the children, then our future is not bright. Our future will be for struggling. The thieves of tomorrow, we are grooming them today by not paying attention to them. And so tomorrow we shall struggle simply because we've not deliberately invested into what can settle down a child.
Okay, let's have a look at it in this way. Which programs would you wish the government to invest in?
For us as a forum, apart from investing in health, which is key, because it is a healthy child that can be utilized, that can be a good citizen in the future. We need to put some good money in education. Like I've said, early childhood is being left without funding. It is unfunded priorities. government came up with those programs of early childhood, and even people had to go to be trained, but there is no money to effect that, to put there some government early childhood centers. Okay. Where government can put people on payroll and say, we have nursery teachers here, we've left it to the private sector, and the parents struggling. Then apart from that, money should be put to protection of children. How? Where should it be put? Let's put money per district. Let's have a conditional grant to each district, so that we can ring fence money to protect the child who is vulnerable. Okay. So that in case of any atrocity, any challenge, anything, then the structures on the ground. We have structures. We are good at coming up with the structures. Even at LOC 1 level, we have an office which is concerned with the children's affairs. You go to LOC 2, you go to the sub-county, up to the district. We have these committees there. We even have the children's authority. But as I speak now, there is no board that takes care of this authority. We only have staff, but the board is not there. So if we do not empower these structures, then we shall not attend to this child, and this child will struggle, and in future the child will be a problem. So I want money to be put in child protection, so that we can have enough judges to dispose of the cases. We have many backlogs, and when it comes to cases of children, we've been having cases of child sacrifice, kidnap, and everything. But where are those people? And now when we talk to the teenage pregnancies, who are those who impregnate these children? It is the men. But where are they? Have you seen them in Luzira Food? They are not there. So that means that we are not funding the office that is concerned with the disposing of these cases. So I would wish that we put money to the protection side, more so by empowering the officers on the ground, the structures on the ground, putting in place all those facilities, so that in case there is an emergency, in case there is, we don't again ask a parent, bring this money so that we can take your child to say a surgeon who is at the regional level. Let's put these surgeons closer to the people, so that we can help these children. Right. And also lastly, on where do I want the money to go. We've not deliberately put money in awareness. Okay. Now, when we talk of all these challenges, we have all these good laws, but they are shelved. They have not gone to the people. If anything, then they've gone to the districts, like the parenting policies, like the national child policy. When you go on the grassroots, to my village woman, do they know about all these policies? So as lawmakers, we've come up with the policies and laws, but they are on the shelves. So why can't government deliberately put money in dissemination of this information, so that a child deep down there can know that in case of anything, this is where I'm trying to. A parent down there can know that this is how I'm supposed to raise my child. Failure to do it, then I'm contravening this. There is this penalty. So we seem to be there trying to deal that, but we are leaving, we are not concentrating on putting attention. Another important policy is the parenting policy. Okay, you mentioned about that. It is there. But do people know where you come from in your village? Do those parents know that this is what government expects us to do? So we are just there saying, children, government is overprotecting children. But no, people misquote, because they assume when you say don't batter your child, don't ban your child, then they think you are protecting the child. But as a parent, do you need to punish your child to the extent of death, the extent of hurting? Not so really. People do not know. So if we can create money deliberately to invest in awareness, we shall help this country. Okay. And well, when you mention about money, investing in awareness, where does this money go to? Television,
or it goes directly to the coaches that are going to
now,
disseminate this information?
This money should even go to the local radio stations.
Okay.
It can also go into printing this information in the local languages.
Okay.
It can go into bringing the key people in our communities, say the cultural leaders, religious leaders, politicians. They do not know these things, but they are the people who are there deep down talking to these people. So if we invest in a workshop to bring awareness to LOC1, LOC5, counselors, these religious leaders, then at the end of the day, they will carry this information deep down, translate this information into the local languages, go to the televisions like we are here today. Those who are seeing us, they can pick a word or two. But now, even local radio stations, if we've not gone there, if we do not have those adverts trying to make people create awareness, then at the end of the day, people will operate in darkness. People will be there in ignorance. They will be caught up with the law, but when in real sense, surely they do not know that this is an offense. So if we can deliberately, as government, put money in those areas, then we shall have a good, well-protected child.
Okay. Now, for the time you've been on the forum, what are some of the findings that you've come out, you've been able to identify on the matters to do with children crisis in the country?
Some of the issues we've identified, majorly we get different people who come and they are trying to say, wait a minute, here things are not moving well. Like I told you of the witness protection bill. People come up and identify the gaps and say, here our children are doing ABCD. Here we are not seeing government coming up to penalize the offenders. Here we are seeing government not putting in money. Like I told you that of recent, some 2 weeks back, we had a dissemination report on child protection. How much really goes into child protection if we want to have a bright future and if we want our children to be tapped into. So finally, you find that we have people who are concerned, who come up. But now the main challenge which we've discovered, we do not only our main challenge as Uganda, we have good policies, but implementation, putting funding, putting those policies into practice, it's just where we lack. So we have many issues which come across, but still the person who has all the government, it is only the government that can offer a solution. But until when government gets to understand that our children are of value, they are important, they are born very innocent, what surrounds them is what distorts them. You put garbage in them, you will get garbage out. You invest in them right now, you will have quality population. So what is that we want as government? We already know the challenges which we have. Government is aware. Reports have been produced by the NGO world to come and bring awareness to government that ABCD is going on. We have many child actors. But now, if government is silent, and if government has not deliberately put children as a priority to say, rescue or fund some of these things, then at the end of the day, we are wasting our time.
Okay. Now, also, let's look at the issue of child labor. This seemingly looks like it is increasing. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, it actually became even worse. Now, later on, we've come to realize that the street children here in Kampala, the Kampala City Council Authority recently was having a drive to ensure that these children get back to their homes, back in, for example, the northeastern part of Uganda. However, we've come to realize again that we still have most of those. Now, I would want you to comment on one, the increase of child labor. Where do you think this has come from? Then secondly, on the issue of the street children.
Now, with the child labor, Uganda is still a poor country. Okay. So if a parent has no food, then it is this child to move out and look for food. And at most, they've even gone to the prostitution side of it to look for men who can give them money.
Okay.
And also this child labor, apart from those who are struggling and parents are involved in even telling their children, can't you move out and look for some money? They don't want to know where these children are looking for money, whether they are stealing, selling themselves, doing what. So it is a big challenge, and majorly it is poverty.
Okay.
More so, some of them, like you were talked of, those who are on the streets.
Yeah.
They have come because of now we have hunger in the country.
Okay.
Like those who are coming from Karamoja sub-region, seeing your friend, your sibling dying off because of hunger, you rather take off and die on the streets of Kampala, and other than dying in the...
But as the forum come out to address on the issue of child labor, because you've mentioned it's because of the parents. Now, first of all, we're going to put a little of the blame onto the parents who let these children get out of the house to look for what to eat. But remember, as a parent, you're supposed to be a breadwinner. You're supposed to give children that security. But if you are on the forum, is there any way you've been able to address this issue? Because it seems like now it is parents and the children on their own.
Some 4 or 5 months back, we moved it as a forum to Soga sub-region, where we are having many children working in plantations of sugar canes, and that is child labor. So when we go there as a forum, we are limited. Okay. Apart from talking to the leaders, challenging them so that they can. But what amazes me, or what annoys me, is that these rich people, they prefer using the children to go and cut sugar cane. We now have gold mines, like in Namaingo we have gold mines. In Namaingo we have a lake, and all this is child labor. So because of ignorance and also because of the poverty, parents keep quiet and leave their children go and look for ways of survival. So as government, we ought to give deliberately money to empower these people so that at least they can sustain or they can have some small businesses. I want to commend government for coming up with a parish development model. Maybe if it is utilized well by the people, then at the end of the day we shall see many poor families trying to catch up, and that is when they can maybe take their children to school. And also child labor, it's because of the high dropout. Parents do not have money to buy even what is required for the child to be at school, to maintain a child at school. So if a child has dropped out of school in P4, P5 because of lack of the materials, then what do we expect this child to do? To just sit there and sleep? They will obviously move out and look for where to get some little money to sustain themselves. So it is incumbent upon us as leaders, as planners of this country. More so I want to call upon the planning sector, of this country, so that the National Planning Authority can put priority to children. They can specifically and deliberately reinvest some money to help put in seeing that we protect our children, we empower the families so that they can raise their children well. If they are struggling, then obviously they will not come. And also we need to put into to bring these people, the people who are using the children. We need also to summon them, we need to apprehend them. But if they are using our children, and it's like nobody bothers. So it is us, the forum, and some civil societies trying to come up and make an alarm. But where are the planners of this country? Are they not seeing that when we do not attend to these issues, then we are not going to have a quality population? So the planners should not plan on the desks. They should move out and go to the villages, go to everywhere and see the needs of people. When they do the needs assessment, it will give them the priorities, where to put attention and where to put money. Other than for us just thinking that we are helping the country, when at the end of the day we are sitting on a time bomb.
Okay, Honorable, I forgot to ask, how is the state of the children in Namaingo?
My brother, in Namaingo, first of all, we have high dropout rates, just like everywhere. They will have high dropout rates because of poverty. Parents cannot even buy a book.
Okay.
And so if they cannot sustain them at school, like me as a person, to curb some of those challenges, I've come up with a skilling center, and I'm skilling the school dropouts in 5 skills of saloon, tailoring, carpentry, welding, and building. When I get salary in parliament, then I will invest in them. No school fees, because when I say pay money, the parents do not have, they've dropped out of school because parents do not have money. So why can't government deliberately put up skilling centers? We now have an upsurge of children who have dropped out of school. But it's like we are all silent. Nobody's being bothered. So as we leaders, we are now coming out of pocket. We are trying to offer solutions where we would have expected government to have a solution. So the affair or the status of our children in Namaingo is equally not as good, because we are still facing those very challenges: child mothers, teenage pregnancies, child labor is high, school dropout is there. And so when you bring all these challenges together, the completion rate is very poor. Now we have teachers who are striking. Sincerely speaking, I don't see the future unless when it begins with allocating money to go into those different sectors so that we can harness the potential of these children.
Has the parish development model addressed anything? Because government says with the parish development model, poverty is going to be kicked out of this country. As I speak now, we had hope in it. But now as I speak now, my brother, the man has not gone there. The 100 million has not yet reached, but the planting season is getting finished. So those are the issues and the challenges we are saying. It's like we are just there trying to sweet talk ourselves. If by now the rains are on, but people have not bought the materials, the planting seeds, then at what time will you plant? And now with our country, we are still depending on nature. So the rains are going to disappear, then the money comes. And that is what has killed some of these other programs. It's not only the parish development model we've been having. We had Operation Wealth Creation. Which impact is there? Because these people, we had a lot of money, they just buy even what you don't want and put it to you. And so, okay, we brought you, these are now bananas. Can you plant? But they've not even tested the soil where you're going to plant. They've not considered your priorities and also the quantities. You are bringing me something to get me out of poverty, but which quantity have you brought? I know.
Now, like we are talking of the parish development model, it's just a drop on the ocean. Because in a parish of how many people are you bringing the 100 million? And if it is to do some good business, then each person gets how much? So we still want to, anyway, as a government, I know we are, because of COVID-19, we are still struggling with our resource envelope, because even us, when it comes to budgeting, and you are now in the process, you can try to fix, but the money is not there. Maybe government should tap into the resources we have. Like now we have many minerals. Let government deliberately invest in them so that we can get money to run our affairs. Even our debts are choking the country. So if we have more than 50% of the debts, then everything that we get has to go and service the debt. So I'm not a prophet of doom, but I'm saying even what we have, the little we have, can we give priority to children? So that when we invest in children, then we shall have quality population. Then the taxes will increase. Then development will come.
All right, what about your parting remarks as we are ending up our discussion this morning?
My parting remarks, I want to call upon my dear parents. My challenge, my cry as a chairperson, the Uganda Parliamentary Forum, is with the parents. Let's play our role. Let's guide our children. Let us protect our children. It is our duty. God has given us these children as a gift. Let's tap into them. If you do not invest and take care of your child now, when that child grows up, will it be either a monster or a blessing to you? So you choose, invest in your child now, so that tomorrow your child will help you. If you do not invest in a child now, then tomorrow the child will be a burden to you and you will cry. You will not enjoy your old age. So my brothers and sisters who are watching us over there, want to appreciate you for being part of this show, and also appreciate the management for giving us the opportunity to speak to the people.
All right. And that is Honorable Makoha Margaret, Member of Parliament, Women Member of Parliament for Namaingo District, also sits on the Ugandan Parliamentary Forum for Children. Our discussion has been on the children allocation, the budget allocations for the children affairs in Uganda, and clearly, as a parent, you would definitely want to have this for a discussion and you would want to be part of these conversations. It's been a wonderful discussion, but Smart Means Business continues after the break. I'll be going on ground with Barija Andrew. Stick around with me. Good morning.